It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Reaction Video 251. Day in that neighborhood. My brothers and sisters, it is Tuesday, y'all. Once again, it is Tuesday. So y'all know who we about to check out. Mike from that chapter. Going back to Mike, y'all. Hope y'all doing excellent out there today as always, and I'm glad y'all came on back to the channel once again to fuck with the bean. Now, let's check the title of the video out. Elected official killed reporter that exposed his dark secrets. Robert Telles. Is it Telles or is it just Tales? I don't know. But what kind of dark fucking secret you got to the point where you gotta kill somebody? What the hell is you hiding in your closet? Is it another dead body? Do they know about you killing somebody else or something? You know what I'm saying? Like, what would drive somebody to actually kill somebody because they exposed a secret? I mean, I really just can't justify it. Well, I can't justify nobody killing nobody any damn way. You know what I'm saying? Unless it's some self-defense shit. So, fucked up anyway. But I'm just interested to see what the hell this dark secret is. Then he an elected official on top of that. But I digress. We finna see. But before we see, my brothers and sisters, y'all know what y'all got to do now. Get whatever you may need. Get what you need. Tuesday, we back to Mike from that chapter. Y'all got what y'all need, y'all ready to go? Then let's fucking go.
Hey you, and welcome. My name is Mike, and in this old video, I have a story for you of a vengeful politician. I know, right? I thought, politicians, the people we are literally giving the keys of the country to, were just supposed to be great old people, just wanting the best for their people. I mean, their name is literally public servants. Well, gee shucks, turns out some of them ain't so good after all, if you can believe that. In Sin City, a prominent man from a prominent family, Robert Telles, Clark County Public Administrator, next up the White House, he had a habit of, well, I mean, it's Las Vegas. What is he supposed to be like? Not be corrupt? Come on! And when an investigative reporter started writing about some of Mr. Telles's misdeeds, and there were a few, well, didn't said reporter end up just on the ground outside his house in September 2022? Before we get into it, please subscribe to see 2 new crime videos every week on Tuesdays and Fridays. But now, we have a story of quite the character, and it's an ongoing story. So let's give it a go.
Let's give it a go. And get whatever you may need.
So, Las Vegas, the city of vice, the city of secrets, the movie casino, etc., etc.
You motherfucker, you!
A city where you think an investigative reporter would be a busy man, and one Jeff German certainly was. Jeff was an investigative reporter for the Las Vegas Review-Journal, a paper of record in Las Vegas. And Jeff, he had the chops, the experience. He was a veteran journalist, smart and fearless. Jeff was born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin in 1953, and that is exactly where he began his journalism career. He would later move to Vegas and end up writing for the Las Vegas Sun, covering organized crime, politics, and the court system. And he covered a number of big booty stories, making a name for himself, and he had the books and the podcasts too. In 2010, Jeff began working for the Las Vegas Review-Journal, continuing his investigations into the seedy underbelly, or maybe seedy overbelly of Las Vegas. Now let me tell you something for free, he wasn't scared of nothing.
What is the involvement, if any, of the mob in Las Vegas today?
To be honest, I think it's pretty limited right now. I mean, a lot of that went away after Anthony Spilaccio was murdered back in outside of Chicago back in '86. Chicago basically kind of withdrew, and you had other you had other crime families here, and people were still doing a little loan sharking, and there's probably some of that going on, illegal bookmaking. But for the most part, Sam, it's a lot different now. I mean,
he was often, his close friends said, mischaracterized as an unapproachable, hard-nosed journalist who only cared about that case. And part of that was true. But to those who really knew Jeff German, he was, under that tough exterior, he was known as being just a very kind, thoughtful, generous person. But, it was this video, captured in May of 2022, that would lead to 69-year-old Jeff German's violent death. This video, as hard as it is to make out, shows a politician by the name of Robert Tellis in a car with one of his staffers, Roberta, in a very inappropriate position, you might say. And I will say it. So what, led to the alleged violent confrontation with a veteran investigative reporter and a well-known politician, Clark County Public Administrator, no less. Well, first, let's get into who exactly this public administrator was. Robert Tellis would be described by some as a hard-working, compassionate person. By some, but not by all. In 2022, Robert was 45 years of age, a father of three, and had been elected to office in 2018. He had a fair few troubles along the way, though.
The public administrator, Robert Tellis. How you doing today, sir?
I'm good. How you guys doing?
Doing real good. Tell us about yourself.
So I was elected to the office of the Clark County Public Administrator and started my role a couple of years ago. A lot of folks don't know that the Clark County Public Administrator is a safeguarding organization. We also administer estates. So when folks pass away in Clark County and family can't be immediately found, the coroner refers the case to us so that we can get to the home, protect the assets that are in the home, and do our search for the family.
I want to know about you a little bit.
Okay.
About you, then we could
Sure.
about
Absolutely.
Robert Tellis grew up in El Paso, Texas, into a family embedded in local politics. His great-uncle and grandfather, after returning from World War II, exerted great influence on the town. Even Robert's own father, Raymond, would serve 2 terms on the El Paso City Council before his career ended in flames, charged with conspiracy to, pay for votes and, fraud. So kind of some of this maybe corruption kind of, dripped true, you might say.
Hey, the corruption don't fall too far from the tree.
I keep saying that. But that never stopped Bobby, Big Bobby over here. He was a determined guy, and, he would leave El Paso, he would move to Denver before eventually setting in Las Vegas in 2002 with his first wife. And together, him and his wife would have a daughter while Robert was working as a HVAC technician, and he also worked in Kmart as well. He had 2 jobs. Robert and his first wife, Tanya, they would divorce in 2008, but it was an amicable enough divorce. She would later say she never saw him be physically aggressive or anything like that, a bully, shit like that. No, he was grand. He changed. And shortly after, Rob turned his attention to law and to politics, 2 professions which are just ding ding for decent folk. Now, one thing to note is that while attending UNLV's Boyd School of Law, he was accused of inappropriately touching another student. But nothing ever really came of that. It's just, still a little spice there for the story, I guess. And so he graduated with a law degree in 2014 and began operating Accolade Law, a small firm that focused on estate planning. And he was good at it, being named Nevada Legal Services Pro Bono Attorney of the Year in 2014. Well, look at you. By the way, while there at Accolade Law, Rob got sent a cease and desist letter from an employee. Seems he, as the cease and desist states, was expressing romantic feelings for her, hugging, kissing of the something, and touching her butt, and she did not appreciate this one iota. And so Robert tells his political career. It began in 2019. Well, he won the election in 2018, being elected Clark County Public Administrator, being elected to that position in that office. Now, the public administrator, essentially they deal with somebody dies, they're the part of, the government that comes in to make sure, their estate, their houses, whatever is taken care of until an executor is brought in or family is found. Somebody dies without any family, the government steps in to, till somebody can, you know what I mean. And it paid well for Robert too, 120 grand a year. Nice chunk of cha-ching. He was also active in a number of voluntary organizations, stuff like the Las Vegas Rotary Club, he was helping out in a foster care agency, stuff like that. And he seemed like a committed guy trying to better those around him. Exactly what you would want your public servant to be. That was the public image anyway, because underneath was a different story. See, Robert was known to have a very short fuse. He would lose the rag at any provocation, and it only took a tiny provocation for him to just snap. He became known for this, for his temper, for his outbursts, very early in his law career. And he would, over time, rack up complaints from the State Bar of Nevada for abandoning cases. Accolade Law would soon stop answering phone calls, any of that kind of shit. Complaints started being made about Robert very, very quickly, which he was just able to kind of, don't worry about it.
One emergency, Orozco 17887. Do you need police, fire, or medical?
Yes, hi. Can you please send somebody here? My husband is going crazy. He's trying to make us, hurt him or something. And me and my kids are freaking out. He just won't leave us alone. He had too much to drink tonight, and it's just, me and my kids are scared.
Okay. Has anybody been hit or pushed, ma'am?
Well, he tried to hurt me, but it's fine. He hasn't touched me since.
No,
Okay.
I didn't.
Nobody needs an ambulance?
No ambulance. Just somebody to come.
Now, what's your
Thank
husband's
you so much.
name?
Rob.
Rob? Is it Robert,
Yes.
or is it?
Yeah, Robert.
Okay, what is his last name?
Telles, Telles.
And is he white, black, Hispanic, or Asian?
In February 2020, he was arrested at the home he shared with his second wife on domestic battery and resisting arrest charges.
76. All right, now he's calmed down now that he knows I'm talking to you.
Okay.
Who did I hit? You just want to take me down because I'm a public official. I did not touch anybody. I haven't hurt anybody. I am just being approached, and you guys just want to take me down because I'm a public official. That's it. I'm a public official.
I'm sure your supervisors will love to see this bloody damage when they see it.
I'm a public official. This is my home. I haven't hurt anybody. I am a public official. I am not stupid enough to do any of that.
There is sufficient evidence to book me right now. There is sufficient evidence to book you right now, yes. You're very certain about that? I am very certain about that.
His wife, May.
How many times he was gonna say I'm a public official, and that motherfucker sound like he was drunk too. He sounded like he was drunk as hell. I ain't gonna lie, he looked like it. Look at him, drunk to the motherfucker. But he thinks since he a public official that he can get away with doing fucked up shit. Why did he think it like that? Crazy.
Didn't show signs of being attacked, but she was worried he might harm her or her kids after a night out on the booze. She later declined to press charges.
First thing you'll need to do is stay out of trouble, and we call that a broad stay out of trouble. No new criminal offenses, no arrests, no citations. You'll have to attend, pay for, and complete the corrective thinking class, which is given online. It costs $60. You also need to post $418. We call this a bail forfeiture amount, but basically it's a fine to you in that amount, $418. And if you do all these things, you'll get the best result that you can get out of a criminal matter, and that is the dismissal.
Yes, Your Honor.
It's a good deal. Keep it in your hands, out of mine. Agreed?
Agreed, Your Honor. Thank you.
But things really came, to a head for Robert in 2022 when he was seeking re-election for the public administrator, because that is when Jeff German started writing a series of exposés about Robert Tellis, exposing Robert for who he really was, something that would, allegedly cost Robert Tellis his, the election. It would cost him his job, and also cost Jeff German his life. And speaking of uncovering information, folks, this whole video is brought to you by Aura.
Look at Mike, man, with his commercial, y'all. It's just crazy that, and y'all fuck with, what is this called? Aura? Yeah, y'all fuck with Aura too, man. But it's just crazy that he would even try to be reelected for that shit after the shit that the scandals or whatever you want to call it, he was already caught up in. It's crazy that he would even be able to run again after the officials or the police or whoever, the government, whoever, I don't know what them words be, but y'all know what I'm saying. That them people seeing that body cam footage, oh no, we can't reelect you. No, we gonna find somebody else that don't be doing crazy shit like this. Let's get past it. God damn, Mike. Long ass commercial. Okay. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm fucking sorry. Let's just start right here.
Just how much of your personal information has leaked online. But you know what? Thankfully, Aura has got your back. It's giving you an aura of protection and giving you a little kiss on the booty besides. Thank you so much, Aura, for sponsoring this whole video. Now let's get back to it. One of Jeff German's sources was a woman named Rita Reed, and she worked in the Clark County Public Administration's office. She had worked there for years, and she would be second in command to whoever would be elected to run the department, to run the office, which in 2019 was Robert. And she would say that as soon as he took on the job, as soon as he was elected into the position, things went sour very, very quickly. Pretty immediately, he was seen as a bully, as someone who bossed people around, as someone who only viewed this job as a stepping stone, and he made that very, very clear to everybody who worked for him that he did not give a single shite about anybody. He had little to no respect for the staff, and he began a lot of unnecessary changes, and his short temper did not work well as a management style, if you can believe that. And then rumors began around the office. See, when COVID hit, Robert sent most people to go and work from home, and only a handful of people would remain in the office. Robert, a couple of others. One of those others was a female staffer named Roberta. And well, when the rest of the staff came back into the office, months and months later, they noticed things had changed in the office, and there was, sexual tension. Highly inappropriate though, and the female employee quickly scaled the ladder in the office also. And so, with the staff being upset about the situation, and not to mention how much of a bully Robert was, with complaints routinely filed against him by his staff seeing the election down the road and were like, we're not dealing with another 4 years of this asshole. We need to do something. Rita Reed, his second in command, decided to run against Robert for that position. And it was then that this video was filmed, of Robert and his, employee in the back of the car, together. Wonder what they're doing. It was Jeff German who was sent this video, and then he began writing a series of reports and articles about our dear Robert.
The Clark County Public Administrator's Office has been mired in turmoil and internal dissension for 2 years, with workers claiming emotional stress, bullying, and favoritism. Robert Tellis, who leads the office, has also faced allegations of an inappropriate relationship with a coworker, Roberta Lee Kennett. In an interview with Review Journal investigative reporter Jeff German, Tellis disputed several complaints.
What is your reaction to the allegations from these employees that you have created a hostile environment in this office?
Yeah, I earlier introduced you to the other 7 team members, and they're folks who have all come with a great attitude, and they work hard. And together, them and I, we are what is making the difference with the performance of this office. I've done my best to try to make everyone happy, but again, it's got to be within a certain framework. People just cannot get to do whatever they want, And it's unfortunate that, we've got some people who were here from before who were basically trying to railroad me. And again, you met those other folks. They're happy, they're dedicated, and we're just here to do a good job.
Telles, who's up for re-election in the June primary, blames a handful of old-timers for claims about a hostile environment in the office.
Again, no matter what type of gestures I try to make to smooth things over, to make sure that they're happy, they just don't, it's nonstop. And again, like I said, it's hard for me to make sure that I am a cheerleader for the folks who are doing really good work when I've got these other folks who are constantly, surveilling me, constantly trying to sabotage the office. But, we're doing it, but it's hard.
And when you hear people raising these allegations about you and your brother and a quote, personal relationship that you have, what do you say to people about that?
Well, obviously, it's not true. I said I'm, all of my friends, all my family know how much I love my wife. I am about nothing but justice, fairness, and just being a good person. And it sickens me, it destroys me that somebody would even level like accusations like that.
Bullshit. Everything that just came out his mouth was bullshit. In the end is what really lets you know that it's bullshit. Because, and see, the reporter, whoever was doing that interview, he ain't asked the question right. He should have said, he shouldn't have been like, what you think about allegations that you and Roberta got something going on? No, fuck that. What the hell you and Roberta was doing in the back of her damn car? Then Roberta get out adjusting her damn dress and shit, hair a little laid to the side. You know what I'm saying? That's how I would have asked the question without the cussing words. But I would have been very direct. I feel like the reporter question was vague. I feel like it was a vague question, and the way this dude was answering these questions in the interview, man, he just doing he dancing around the question. You know what I'm saying? He barely answering it while kinda answering it at the same time. But I would have said, "What the fuck y'all was doing in that back seat?"
Now, this wasn't a huge story, which shocked the foundations of Las Vegas, and everybody's like, whoa, mind blown. Not at all. This was a story of a small-time public official who was known as a bully and was having an inappropriate relationship with one of his staffers. Usually, a couple of days later, a week later, you might quietly see in the news it being reported that he, quietly resigned. Although, not with our 2022-2023 nightmare vision, that was not going to happen.
A few years ago, when I started my first term, I found a disturbing situation at the office. Unfortunately, I found that there were cases that weren't being closed and hadn't been closed for years. I also found that checks to families were waiting to go out so long that the checks went stale before the families could get them. Tragically, there were even situations where the family members died before they could receive their own checks. But I'm very happy to say that we've turned that all around under my leadership.
Robert, of course, denied any of the allegations that were written against him. He was calling it all bullshit. But then the election came. The primaries came, and Robert came third. Rita won. He lost the position, and it seemed mainly due to Jeff's exposés. And so the tirades on social media began by Robert, while Jeff kept following the story. Robert, of course, still saying this was all bullshit. He's out to get me. Jeff's got some vendetta against poor old Robert over here. He also argued for them to stop reporting on this, as Roberta, that's the woman he was allegedly having an affair with, was, and I quote, "Roberta has been having heart arrhythmia episodes that are likely linked to this. I am concerned that the release of anything else he can use might further cause severe mental anguish and potentially ill health effects for Roberta. I think we have endured enough." Just stop it. Would you really write about someone who is ill like this? You fucking monster. And then, in September 2022, while awaiting more public records to be released to Jeff, more public records on the story about Robert Telles, Jeff German was found dead just outside his home. This was on September 3rd.
Well, it's a huge loss for the journalism in Las Vegas community. Those who knew him say Jeff German's work made an impact across the valley as an established journalist. Investigative reporter Jeff German was found dead with stab wounds outside his home Saturday morning. He was 69 years old and has covered news in the valley for decades. Now, Metro Police say they believe a fight led to German's stabbing, and police are still searching for the suspect, but do say they do have a lead.
In a statement from the Review-Journal executive editor and senior vice president Glenn Cook says, quote, Jeff German was as competitive, relentless, trusted, and accomplished as any reporter in Nevada for the past 4 decades. He broke big stories and developed impactful investigations across every part of Southern Nevada life, from politics to sports, local and state government to courts and business to organized crime. He will be terribly missed by his family and colleagues, and we are all in shock over his senseless killing.
The public records, by the way, Jeff was waiting on to write more stories about old Bobby Telly over here. He was waiting on the records to be released of communications between Robert and Roberta, the woman he was allegedly sleeping with. Robert was informed of this, that these records would be released the day before Jeff was killed. At about 10:30 a.m. on Saturday, September 3rd, police received a 911 call. Jeff's body was discovered just outside his home. He had been stabbed 7 times. Stabbed to death. He had been murdered the night before. It is believed to have been an ambush. Footage showed a figure entering Jeff's backyard, and then 5 minutes later, Jeff walked out of his garage towards where the figure was. Within seconds of Jeff going through his gate into his yard, he was attacked violently. Now Jeff, this legendary investigative reporter, he routinely reported on mob stories and stuff in Vegas. So a small-time public official was not the first thing that, a small-time public official he was reporting on who was a bit of a scandal. Wasn't exactly the first thing on everybody's mind when he was murdered. Except after the investigation into this beloved and well-known reporter's death, police began releasing CCTV footage of a person who was walking nearby, and also a car. The person, dressed like a gardener, very hard to tell who it was. The car, though, was Robert's wife's car.
Dumbass. Dumb fucking ass. See, he tried to be smart with it. You know what I'm saying? He ain't pull up to the house. He actually walked there. He got on that big ass sun hat or whatever you want to call it. Got on, the long sleeve, looking like a gardener out there. Thought, yeah, I'm gonna walk, I'm gonna do. He thought he had it planned out. Man, bro, it's 2022 then. Hey, in this day and age, it's so hard to get away with a fucking murder. I'll be glad if one day it literally become impossible, which it never will become impossible, but it's way better than how it was back in the day, man. You can't get away with shit, man. Them damn cameras fucking everywhere. Cameras are everywhere. As long as you ain't in your house, you need to be thinking that somewhere you being recorded at all times. Period.
Robert was taken into questioning 4 days after the murder. DNA swabs were taken also.
Breaking at 4, county official Rob Tellis returning home this afternoon in a paper jumpsuit. Sources tell 8 News Now investigators had spent part of the day questioning him about the murder of Review-Journal investigative reporter Jeff German.
He was released, however, soon after questioning, and then arrested soon after he was released, as in the same day, after Robert's DNA was found under Jeff German's fingernails. In his home, they also found the outfit the person on CCTV was wearing.
A grand jury has indicted former Clark County Public Administrator Robert Tellis for murder. Tellis is accused of killing local investigative journalist Jeff German.
Robert Tellis has been charged with first-degree murder.
No bail for the former Clark County official accused of killing a newspaper reporter.
Tellis became emotional during his court appearance this morning. His attorney argued Tellis should be given a chance to bond out, but prosecutors say the evidence against Tellis is overwhelming.
The likelihood of conviction is high. One of the factors is the gravity of what he did. There is no more serious crime than murder. And this is what he has done in this case.
He has pleaded not guilty and denies any of the accusations Jeff was throwing at him.
Not guilty? Not guilty, bro? Really? Not guilty? You really gonna go that route? Why you just gonna try to take a little plea deal or something? Your ass is grass, man. You tried to be the smartest motherfucker on earth by, walking up to the house, parking the car, a distance away, and got on all these clothes and shit. But the same clothes you had on, bro, is in your damn house. You wasn't smart enough to at least get rid of the damn clothes? You know what I'm saying? This man was smart and dumb at the same fucking time.
Since being incarcerated, Bobby has gone through 3 lawyers. 3, count them 3, before deciding, what, let me just do it myself. No one knows Bobby better than Bobby. Even though he does have, he's a lawyer, has a law degree in practice law, not a criminal lawyer at all. Plus he'd be out of practice being, public administrator for 4 years. So, hey? Might be a little bit rusty, but it'll be interesting if nothing else. Currently, he is telling anyone who listens he's being framed. That what prosecutors call overwhelming evidence. The clothing the suspect in the CCTV was wearing, it was planted in his house. Of course it was. Of course it was.
Did you kill Jeff German?
No, I did not. I don't have proof of who did it, but I know who gained, or who would have gained from framing me.
How do you explain your vehicle near his home? How do you explain the video of an individual who appears to be you? How do you explain the clothing that was at your house? How do you explain the DNA?
As far as the vehicle goes, there's a vehicle that looks like mine. As far as any other evidence goes, again, as far as what time it may have been planted, I couldn't say. Again, I know it's an incredible story, but that is the story.
It could appear that you're grasping at straws here because you know about the evidence against you.
And again, if that's what people want to believe, then they can. But again, I'm telling you the truth.
What would you say to people who believe that you are a narcissist who killed a journalist and now you're coming up with another excuse?
Again, at this point, I'm coming out with the truth because I've had to sit and wait for some time to speak out, just because my counsel had advised that I shouldn't say anything whatsoever.
Framing him like this was framing him.
You just want to take me down because I'm a public official. Sure, your supervisors will love to see this bloody camera.
Or this was framing him. Robert is the other kind of person where, of course, nothing's ever his fault. It's fucking the other guy. Get a load of this asshole. Currently, Robert's trial is set for November, and if it's anything like the man himself, it'll be a wild one. And so that is the story of Robert Tellis to date. So far, anyway. Allegedly the man who was so upset, so fed up with a reporter, he had to go. Unfortunately for Robert, though, that's pretty kind of like one of the last we should really go after, because that will be looked into pretty heavily, and all because he was a bully at work and kind of off banging someone he shouldn't have been. These series of exposés and reports cost Robert his job. Fair enough. But what Robert did himself could cost him his life. Genuinely, I think this might be the first story of, a bullying, shitty politician in history. Yeah, just had a quick think about it. I'm pretty sure I'm right. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you being here watching this solo video with me. It means so much to me, as always, that you're here hearing me say these words right now, because we're at the end of the video, which means you made it. Thanks. Yeah, here as always, new videos every Tuesday, every Friday, so please subscribe for that, and look forward to the next one. Also, check out the That Chapter podcast, which is the new episodes out every Monday. Check out the Patreon for a load of exclusive videos and early access to videos, and yeah, hopefully I'll have some interesting merch stuff coming soon, which I think will be really, really cool. I don't want to talk too much about it, but I think it could be interesting, so look forward to that. But yeah, that kind of wraps up this whole one. So as always, please look after each other and yourselves, because I love you. Mike out.
We love you too, Mike, man. God damn, y'all. Ain't gonna lie, at the end of the video, it got exhausting. It got exhausting still listening to Robert just tell lies. You know how you listening to a motherfucker that you know they lying, and on top of that, they know they lying, and on top of that, they know that you know they lying. So it just gets to the point where, man, I don't even want to fucking hear this shit no more, man. You know what? He one of them fucking type of lies. He one of them lies that start to believe their own lies. That's him. That is a perfect example of somebody be lying so much so they damn start believing it they damn self. But at the same time, they know they goddamn, you know that they know that you don't believe they bullshit at all, but they still gonna try to just feed it to you and tell you. You know what I'm saying? It just got exhausting. I was tired of listening to him, man, and I just keep thinking about the reason that he killed him. That he killed that man for, bro, cause he caught you having sex with somebody while you was married. Like, bro, I don't even think it's the marriage as much as his position that he had as a fucking whatever he was, like a city administrator, whatever the fuck he was. I think that's more what the fuck he was mad about. Well, bro, there ain't no reason to fucking kill nobody. This was, yeah, like I said, man, it just got exhausted, man. I hate a motherfucker who keep lying and they you know they be lying, man. It gets to the point you don't even want to hear that shit no more, man. That shit is crazy. And then he's such a blame deflector too. It ain't never his fault. He ain't never the one who did it. It was them. That's them. They attacking me. Man, this dude here, yeah, he a narcissist and all that crazy shit right there. My brothers and sisters. Long story short story long, man. Jesus fucking Christ, bro. I digress. Appreciate y'all coming back as always, man. Before you leave, make sure you been to hit that like button. Comment, subscribe if you ain't yet, and all that good shit right there. And until I see y'all again, my brothers and sisters, love, peace, and happiness. Stay safe. Don't stop. Keep going. Yeah.